I'm Kim Canary, and this is another Nifty payroll tutorial. Today we want to talk about varying items. So I'm already on the varying items form, which I opened from here, varying items, and I want to show you how this applies to the payslip. So varying items handles things that happen once in a while, or amounts that change from month to month, or you want to vary a fixed item. So let me give you examples of each of these. So let's say I want to pay somebody arrears. The first thing I want to do is to come here and check, do I have arrears showing here? As you can see, I don't have any arrears. So let me show you how to add arrears. So you go to payslip items. Anything that falls within the fixed, varying, and computed are items that fall within FVC. As you can see here, I've only selected 4. But there is a whole bunch of others sitting here under off. So I want to pay arrears. You highlight it and you say activate it. Now when you go back to FVC, you can see it's available there. So let's close there. Let me close and reopen. So I want to pay, and let's go to April. That's the payslips we've been working on. I want to open payslips for April. So let's look at Alan Todd. He's the one I want to add arrears for. As you can see right now, he has basic pay, house allowance, and a bonus. So I want to add arrears. So I would come here, make sure I'm in April, select him, select arrears, and let's say we are giving him 30K arrears. You can put some notes and say for month X, worked, not paid. Okay, you can write whatever. I'm just showing you how the notes works. So once you've got that, remember this is sitting in April. You come here. You can see there's nothing there. We process. And you can see now his arrears is here, 30K, and the note that we wrote. So that's the first thing. You can put an amount that is paid rarely or on occasion. The second kind of thing you want to pay through varying items is things that vary from month to month. So let's say you have overtime. I've already preset an Excel sheet. So you have a department that manages your overtime, and they send you overtime figures in Excel. So I've picked these 4 gentlemen. Actually, yeah, that's fine. I've picked the 4 gentlemen. And I'll show you how to import this data and put it into overtime. Now, there is something interesting I want you to note. Overtime has an app, right? If you go to the home page, under paper unit, one of the items you can pay is overtime, OT, which is here, overtime 1.3. So you could actually create overtime from this app based on the hours a person has worked and the rate that you've computed for him. But in this case, I want to show you how we can import, and it actually highlights something interesting about this varying module. This varying module allows you to put in items that come from apps. So you can see anything with a dot here is an item that comes from an app. So you can see overtime is here. If I had overtime in the app and I input overtime within the varying would override the one in the app. If I receive data directly from some department giving me the overtime and I don't want to put in the hours, then I would just come directly to this and input the overtime. All right, so let me show you how we do that. So I have these 4 gentlemen, or these 4 people with their overtime sitting in an Excel sheet that I've called overtime, that is sitting in my documents. It's sitting here. This is the one. So if I want to import that data into here, I say get people. No, that's not where I go. I could do it there, but let's close this and go to here, import salary. Okay, let's delete what is sitting there. Say import data, go to my documents, overtime, say yes. What has happened? Import data, overtime. All right, seems to be a sheet. The sheet is not in the right format. Let me just delete. There may be some columns here that are creating a problem. So I've just highlighted and deleted in case there is some data sitting there. So let's try that again. Import data, overtime. Field F3 doesn't exist in your destination table. Let's see now. What is my field F3? I don't have field F3. Let's delete columns. That's what that is. Let's try again. Import data, overtime. There we go. So now we have the data imported. So I showed you that so that if you're importing and you get those errors, you can see how to fix. Now you can see this data looks exactly like in the Excel file. The first step to import, you have to match names. This is to make sure that the names you have in your sheet matches somebody within here. If anything is missing here, that's a problem. You either need to match the person properly or remove that piece of data. So after you've matched the names, you go to this thing called transfer to get people. So now it brings your 4 people with their amounts, and you choose here what it is you want. So in our case, we want varying, and the item we want to import to is overtime, and which month we want to put it in April. There is April. So once you've picked April, overtime, amount 1 is these figures sitting over here. When you add to varying, it takes that data and it puts it there. So if you had a long list, it would be quite easy to import, and you can see they are all April, they are all overtime, and then the amounts that we had there. So that's imported. So let's go back to the payslips for April and let's process. We should see overtime added for Alan Todd and the rest. So here we are. There is the overtime, and it's 10,000 shillings. Okay, so that's now we've dealt with items that vary from month to month. So every month you could get that sheet, the overtime sheet, from that department, and you would be able to import it like that. The other point which I already mentioned, if you have a fixed item, so let's go there. So let's say Alan Todd's basic pay in this case is 400, and we had changed this, so it's sitting at 420. Let's say for some reason you want to change for 1 month that person's salary. So let's go back to April. I'm just using this as an example. So here we take Alan Todd, April, and I pick overtime. I pick basic pay. And then let's give him 380. So that month, for some reason you've agreed with him, we are going to pay him 380. Okay? Now remember, usually the figure for his basic comes from here, right? Depending on where the month you're processing. So since we are processing April, the line for Alan for April is 420. But in varying, we have said in April, vary basic pay and pay him 380. So the varying item always runs first. It will always be added to the payslip first. So anything that you want to vary that is set as fixed. So let's say you had SACCO as fixed, and you wanted to change an amount in a month. For the SACCO, you have the option of using SACCO varied, but you could also do varied directly where we did. And the same applies to car benefit, other benefits. It applies to these. Most likely that will never happen. Usually it will affect anything sitting in this main fixed items. So okay, so we've got our 380. Let's go back to payslips in April and let's process. And you will see it will move from 420 to 380. There you go. All right. So to prove that the way it's working is like that, let's move this to April to May. If we process again for April, his pay will come to 420 again. Okay, so I think that makes the point. So let's change it back to April. Save and process. So it's at 380. So then let me go back to my little outline. So I've shown you if amounts change month to month, what to do, one-off items, how to vary a fixed item, and I've mentioned that it applies to FVC and App Items. Let me just clarify what that means. You have a little filter up here. Because it says all, it shows you all items. So it will show you all active FVC items, which is items that don't have dots, like that one, arrears, house allowance, okay, and bonus. Those are FVC items. The ones with dots are the app items. If you only want to see app items, you click filter for app items. Now it only shows app items. If you only want to see FVC items, it shows you FVC items. Let's get it. Yeah. You can see now you only have the FVC items. All right. So that's what this step was saying, that this applies to both app items and FVC items. Most commonly, if you're varying an item, it will be coming from FVC items. Okay, I've shown you how to import from Excel. I'll show you about posting bonuses later when we do computed. Okay. I was going to show you a way of doing that. I'll do that when I'm showing how to the options available for doing computed. So for varying items, that pretty much covers the options. There is this final thing here. If you wanted to, I think this is still something I'm working on. I think I'd put this, if you want to set an amount for a specific item that's been filtered, I wanted it to be able to, that you can put an amount. I think I am yet to add a button here that will let you set all the selected people to that amount, but that will come later. Any of these items within, let's do all. Say all. Any of these items can be exported to Excel. All right, you can either view the table to be exported, or you can export it. And you can also filter by section. So if you only want to see payments, you can select cash. It will filter only payments. If you want to only look at deductions, so let's say voluntary deductions, you can do that. In our case, we don't have any done, so but you can see the list of voluntary deductions. So that's varying items. There we go.